Welcome to this week's video blog, this week's session on what you really need as a hitter. Welcome to TroyPSilva.com. This week's sponsor, shout out to Baseballism. Make sure you check them out at baseballism.com. Check out their gear. It's the best baseball gear that there is out there. It's available. So thank you guys for sponsoring me on this video. The information this week is pretty important when it comes to really understanding what it takes to improve as a hitter. This is both for hitters at every level, and this is for coaches at every level. And this is something that usually never gets talked about. It's usually something that's kind of pushed away, and I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of it. And what it is basically understanding what your true weaknesses are and how to figure out what your true weaknesses are in order to, and this is the key part, in order to get better on-field results. Not better swing results, not better cage results, not better how you look results, but better in-game, on-field results. So the three questions that every hitter needs to ask themselves, and every coach needs to ask a hitter before you even change anything, are what do you swing at? Okay, I'm gonna get into each one of these. What do you swing at? The second one is where do you contact the ball? And the third thing is what do you do consistently when you get out? Okay, so we're gonna start with the first one as far as what do you swing at? What you swing at or what you don't swing at will tell a lot about your swing. A lot of swing flaws are created by what's seen as far as the vision and what's swung at. If you swing at an outside pitch, you're gonna see something with a swing flaw, like if they're going to an inside pitch. So the point is what do you swing at? So as a hitter, if you swing at bad pitches, guess what? It doesn't matter what your swing does. You're gonna get out. You're gonna get yourself out more often. It's a pitcher's job to try to get you out, and you get yourself out by swinging at bad pitches. Another thing is what you don't swing at, part of the what you swing at thing. If you take a lot of crushable pitches that you should crush and you let them go, and you're always putting yourself in defensive counts, and you're putting yourself in 0-2 counts all the time, and now you're thinking like, hey, what am I gonna do at the plate? Then you're already beat. So if you're a type of hitter that likes to take pitches, it's completely fine. There's a lot of people that do it, but don't take pitches all the time just to take pitches, because sometimes those are the pitches that you should be crushing most. And I ask kids all the time, it's like, what happened during that at bat? Well, I flew out. No, you took a pitch, 2 pitches before that you should have hit out of the yard, and then you're up swinging at a pitch that you shouldn't swing at. So what you swing at is an important thing to understand. Do you swing at, you know, outside off the plate pitches a lot that should be laid off of? Do you swing at tough sliders in the dirt that you should lay off of? Do you fish at the high fastball? Do you take that pitch that's the inner half of the plate because you're thinking something mentally? So think about this for a second. Think about what do you swing at? And if you understand what you swing at and what you don't swing at, and you put forth the time and effort and work into fixing that, you're actually going to get better in a game. The problem is most kids don't even have a plan and approach. They just kind of get in there. They don't understand the situation. They don't understand what the pitcher's trying to do. They don't understand. They just kind of get in there and hit, and then they take a hack. Maybe they roll over, maybe they pop it up, and they think, oh, it's my swing, it's my swing. When sometimes it's straight up vision. Sometimes it's straight up approach. You had a horrible approach going into that at bat. So figuring out what you swing at on a regular basis will tell a lot of kind of what you need to do. That'll also tell you what you need to do with your swing sometimes. So if you swing at, you know, curveballs, and let's say you're swinging at curveballs but they're low in the zone, you need to learn how to adjust your swing or make a swing adjustment to be able to hit that pitch as well. So understanding what you swing at or what you don't swing at is the first thing every coach and hitter needs to ask themselves in order to get better. The second one is, where's my contact point? And this one right here will tell a lot about your swing. So where's my contact point consistently? The problem with this question is most of the time people evaluate their contact point in a tee setting or in a soft toss setting or in a front toss setting with the coach kind of lobbing it 20 miles an hour into your wheelhouse without really understanding what their consistent contact point is in a game. So understanding your contact point will fix a ton of things with your hitting. So if you're consistently late, if you're consistently early, if you're consistently missing contact, that'll tell you a lot about what you need to do as a hitter. If you're consistently late, instead of working on your swing, maybe you work on your timing. Maybe you work on your bat speed. Maybe you work on your vision. Maybe you work on seeing faster pitching in your daily BP. If you're consistently out in front, maybe you change your approach. Maybe you think let the ball travel. Maybe you have an oppo approach. Maybe you change your approach as far as trying to elevate the ball, because most people that are out in front have a tendency to roll over. So these things of understanding what your consistent contact point is will help you understand what you need to do both mechanically mechanically and physically and mentally to get in there and make the adjustment needed. Now, what if your contact point is consistently good? What do I say about that? Don't change anything. You don't need to make an adjustment. If your contact point is consistently good and almost every pitch location, every speed, lefty, righty, if you're consistently hitting the ball in the right area and you're just missing the ball, I wouldn't change a thing. I would just make minor adjustments on the ball. You pop up, you ground out. Maybe you pop up, you ground out. You do a lot of different things, and there's not one thing that sticks out in your head. Don't change your contact point at all. Stick to it, but do more live repetitions in order to make those adjustments, those small minor adjustments. So understanding your contact point will also tell a lot about your swing too. I have a lot of people come up to me and go, hey, my swing does this and my swing does that. And I could fix your swing literally by fixing your contact point. Most kids say they have a long swing or they roll over, or you know, the common swing flaws that are said these days because of the ball getting too deep in the zone, and that causes them to create that contact point in that spot. So those two things go hand in hand. So when your swing does what it does, it's usually created by the contact point getting too deep. So if you fix that, you can actually fix the swing stuff that your coaches are telling you to do too as well. So understand your contact point. This doesn't mean you have to evaluate every tiny pitch, every at bat, every time. Just think over a course of a year, am I more late, am I more early? Because that sign, that will tell you a lot about what you need to do really to get better in-game results. And then the last one, which most players really don't understand, I ask this to all my players every time, and I would say 90% of the time it's a mechanical answer. And I'll ask them this, I'll say, hey, what do you struggle with most in a game? And 90% of the time, because of where the baseball culture is these days, it'll be something mechanical. It'll be I pull my head, I don't rotate my hips, I get long to the ball, I roll my hands over, I chop down, whatever the swing flaw that comes to mind is. And the reason why they say that is because the culture that we live in these days is so focused on the swing's the problem, the swing's the problem, the swing's the problem, the swing's the problem. So when they have a bad result in the game, they automatically blame their swing. So if they get out of the mechanical mindset of what the problem is and they understand their true weaknesses on the field, then they're able to really dive in their daily BP to really enhance those and improve those. So if your problem in a game is, hey, I pop up a lot, what should be your adjustment? Well, instead of going into a cage and popping up in a cage, how about you hit the ball more on the line? How about you make that adjustment? Because you are how you train yourself. Let me say that again. You are how you train yourself. If you hit ground balls in a cage, you're going to hit ground balls in a game. If you hit pop-ups in a cage, you're going to hit pop-ups in a game consistently. That's basically how it works. So if you're one of those guys that pops up a lot, the adjustment is try to hit the ball down lower in the cage. Vice versa. What if you're a guy that grounds out a lot? Well, I hit a lot of ground balls, coach. Well, let's work on just elevating the ball in BP. It goes to every specific player needing their own specific improvements depending on their own specific weaknesses. And many times, hitters don't even know what their true weaknesses are. And sometimes it's basic. Sometimes it's, I don't hit the outside pitch very well. I had a kid come up to me and say, hey, I don't hit outside pitches very well. And I say, well, how often do you work on hitting the outside pitch? Oh, I do a couple, swings on the tee on the outside pitch, and then, BP I just hit. You just told me you take a couple of hacks off a tee to really work on hitting the outside pitch. Guess what, hitters? Pitchers live on the outer corner. Pitchers live away and down and away. And if you can't learn to hit that outside pitch and you can't learn to work on it during your everyday BP, you ain't gonna get better at it. So to work on the outside pitch, you gotta see a live pitch, you gotta work on it. And I'm not talking about working on just the outside pitch. I'm gonna have a video about this probably next week, so check it out. I'm talking about working on the pitches that are off the plate a little bit. They get called strikes by the umpire. The ones that the catchers do a good job of receiving and frame it in there for a strike. So if you have a specific weakness and you know that weakness, I struggle at outside pitches, then why don't you put work in hitting outside pitches? So understanding your weaknesses could be some mental problems. A lot of kids struggle with pressure, anxiety, fear, worry, fear of failure, fear of letting the team down. There's a lot of different mental aspects kids struggle with. A lot of kids struggle these days with just decent velocity, not good velocity, but decent velocity. And the reason for that is they don't do enough challenging repetitions. They do the tee work, they do their soft toss, and then they get into a game with a kid throwing hard or firm, and they just can't catch up. So what do? They can't catch up, they get late, they get jammed, they think something's wrong with their swing. Well, the reality of it is if you know that your weakness is, I can't catch up to fast pitching, shouldn't you work on some sort of pitch recognition, vision, brain decision making on a consistent basis? I think so, but that never gets worked on. So those three questions are super important. Understand what you swing at, Understand where your contact point is. And thirdly, and probably the most important out of all of them, is understand your own true weaknesses. If you don't understand your own true personal weaknesses, you're just kind of wasting your time going through the motions in your everyday BP. Don't allow yourself to go through the motions. Find a way to fix whatever it is that's in your brain and fix your personal weaknesses, and then guess what? Your on-field performance, the most important thing, your on-field performance will improve. God bless.